Well, last week with the Wisconsin men's hockey team idle, we featured the Wisconsin women's hockey team in their final regular season series of the year. They lost to Parrott, Ohio State. Nevertheless, the Badgers shooting for a third straight national championship head into the postseason this weekend as they welcome Bemidji State to LeBron Arena. Meanwhile, the Badger men are back in action. They wrap up the regular season this weekend at Minnesota. And head coach Tony Granato joins us next on the Badger Hockey Digest. Well, Tony, you weren't idle last week. You practiced all week long without a game last weekend. So what did you accomplish this past week leading up to this week's regular season-ending series?
Well, I think it's important. Some of the injured players are back on the ice, which, from as you get towards playoffs, you need a full lineup to give yourself a good chance. So Danny Latch was back on the ice. Tarek Baker was back on the ice. A couple of the other guys that were banged up, Tyler Inamoto, who hadn't played for a while, was back on the ice. So they're all getting close to being able to return, so it's getting more looking like a full team. Obviously, we got a few players that are out for the year, and Vorlicki and Lindmark and Martin. But to get a few extra bodies out there and have a good week of practice was important for us.
Yeah, you were shorthanded a couple of weeks ago against Notre Dame. What stood out most about that series against the Fighting Irish?
Well, I think they were both competitive games. We had that week with no practice again leading up to the game with the COVID things, and our guys came out a little bit slow. Jared Moe was great the first period, helped us get the win the first night, and then the second game I thought we played really, really well. Dropped a tough one, a 3-2 game, but that's a team that we have a really good chance to play on in the first round. Mm-hmm. It's either them or Ohio State. Those are the two teams we played last. Both those series were really tight and good from the standpoint that I think our guys have confidence in the matchup that we could do well in a series like that. So as we get ready for Minnesota, obviously we still got regular season games left to focus on, but for us to have success this season, we're going to have a good playoffs. And this weekend against Minnesota, they'll set us up for a series against Ohio State and Notre Dame. And again, we need the healthy bodies back. You got to have Baker and Emoto and Latch in our lineup to give ourselves a chance. And I think with how we played those teams earlier in the season, we feel good about having to have a chance in the playoffs to have a good run.
Yeah, a couple of players have had good runs recently. Matthew D. St. Fowl named the number 3 star in the Big Ten, 2 goals and 4 points in that series against Notre Dame. And all season long, we've seen 18-year-old defenseman Corson Ceulemans develop too. Let's take 2 minutes with Corson Ceulemans.
It's been good. It's been cool to play against a lot of the older players. They're a lot bigger, stronger, faster. So I've had to raise my compete level and just all aspects of my game, just being ready whenever. So, I think it's been a pretty good transition so far. I think I'm doing well, and team's starting to figure it out in the second half here. So, hopefully we can keep it rolling.
Yeah. Being younger, do you find that you have maybe some advantages against the older guys?
I don't know. I think they're still in their young 20s, so I think they're probably a little bit more in their prime than I am. So, yeah, they're definitely a lot bigger, stronger. There's some fast guys out there too, like Gorniak and. So, you got to watch out for those guys.
So how did you learn to handle the puck like you do?
Just growing up, I had a setup in my garage, just a net and a couple puck boards. Kind of every night when I was younger, I would just go in there and mess around for 2-3 hours, and it was just kind of what I like to do. And my dad encouraged a lot of, like skating with skills guys and just working on my hands and stuff. So there's this guy at Leduc where I live by. He was just specialized in stick handling and unorthodox stuff, so it was cool to get to work with him.
But so many people want to look to the future for you. How hard is it not to look to the future when it seems like everybody else wants to, Corson?
Yeah, it's a little tough. Everybody's always asking me questions, what I'm doing next year, what I'm doing after that. But, I'm just focused on right now. I like where we're at right now. We're starting to win. Got a great group of guys here that, love hanging out with the guys. So, this is a great spot, and I could see myself being here for a while.
Tony, there are a lot of good young players in the Big Ten, and Corson Ceulemans is one of them, and he's only going to get better and better.
Hey, he's been outstanding. I think for a young kid to come in, play defense, be able to contribute offensively as much as he has, shows the offensive skill that he brings to the table, shows why Columbus drafted him in the first round. But what I like is his overall growth of how he's played the game. He's understanding the importance of all the little things that it takes to polish your game up. to not only make it to the NHL, but also to be a great teammate here. And I think the older players have done a really good job of helping them along that way as well. So it's been a fun thing to watch. You mentioned Matty D. St. Paul as well. He's one of those older players, and he's only a sophomore. His production is outstanding, but his leadership in the room and how he's kind of pulled the guys together through this whole season, along with our captains. Let's not forget how well Tarek and and Brock and Murphy and all those guys have been for us as leaders. But Matty's one of those kids that he his game is his confidence in his game. 18 points in 16 games or something. I heard that number the other day. Shows that his game offensively has caught up with his skill, and that's exciting to see. And we got to keep looking for spots like that. Carson Bannell's another one that you got to get really, really excited about. Danny Latch, who hasn't been in the lineup, you got to get really excited about. Kersey's been outstanding lately, and there's so many guys that are close to breaking out and being elite players in college hockey, and it's been nice to see that progress.
All right. Badgers hit the road to wrap up the regular season this weekend at Minnesota. We'll talk about the Gophers coming up in just a moment.
You can try, but you'll never stop a Badger. Because we Badgers are born with curious minds and endless heart. When we see a curve in the road, we speed up. When there are mask shortages for first responders, we make our own supply chain. When there's a world on pause, we sharpen our claws. Through thunder, fire, and pandemics, we'll keep going. Because after all, you can't stop a Badger.
So Wisconsin's at Minnesota. Gophers have won 6 in a row. They have their 3 Olympians back, too, and Matthew Nyes and Ben Myers and Brock Faber. Their goaltending has not been an issue since Jack LaFontaine signed with the Carolina Hurricanes. But more specifically about your club, yes, you want to get ready for the playoffs, but you could spoil Minnesota's chance to win a Big Ten regular season championship. Is that motivation at all for your club?
I always, focus on what's important for us, those extremes of trying to find little things to motivate yourself, that shouldn't be a factor in how you prepare for every series and every game. But Minnesota's a team that is really close to winning a Big Ten title. Michigan's on the other side of it, close to winning a Big Ten title. It would give us an opportunity to know that you're playing a team that's going to play like the playoffs. And I think that's what I want to see from our guys, is to treat this one like a playoff series, treat this one as the final tune to make sure we are ready for playoffs. So you're playing a team that's desperate to win for those reasons. So it's a good opportunity for us to show that we're ready for the playoffs.
I've got my playoff beard.
You do.
Ready.
You are always playoff ready.
I am playoff ready. Good luck this weekend at Mariucci.
Thank you, Brian.
Sure, that's Badgers coach Tony Granato. Wisconsin and Minnesota, they face off Friday night at 8 o'clock on ESPNU. Saturday night, 7 o'clock. That's on the Big Ten Network. Both games on the radio, the Badger Sports Network. For Tony Granato, I'm Brian Posick. Thanks for watching the Badger Hockey Digest.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,